I was secretly dating my heartthrob roommate Logan Mitchell. Later, he fell head over heels for my sister Sophie. He ruthlessly deleted my contact, coldly warning, "I'm not gay. Never liked you. You were just a distraction, don't take it seriously." To prevent me from clinging, he even introduced his straight-laced teammate Ethan, casually suggesting I try turning him. But oddly enough, Ethan seemed to bend himself without much effort from me. The day Logan caught us kissing, he lunged at Ethan like a feral animal. "You swore you weren't into guys. That's why I trusted you around him," he roared, knuckles whitening around Ethan's collar. "How dare you touch what's mine?" During halftime at the basketball court, I approached Logan with chilled passion fruit juice only to freeze mid-step. My sister Sophie had already reached him, offering her own water bottle. Logan pressed the condensation-beaded plastic to her cheek. "Cool enough for you?" His dimpled smirk made her flush. "But this was for you," she protested. "Keeping my girl from melting takes priority," he murmured, tracing her sun-warmed skin. Sophie spotted me first. Dragging Logan over, she chirped, "Logan, this is my brother Liam. Liam, meet my boyfriend Logan." Our eyes locked, Logan's gaze hardening with silent threat. "Pleasure," I forced out. His curt nod felt like a slap. "Wait." Sophie frowned at my passion fruit drink. "You're allergic to these." "Who's that for?" My grip tightened as I glanced at Logan. He stared impassively at the scoreboard. Sophie's eyes darted between us. "Why are you looking at low?" Ethan materialized, snatching the bottle from my hand. "My order," he declared, downing it in one go before tossing a mocking glance at Logan. The court lights glinted off his Adam's apple as he walked away without acknowledging me. Sophie's relieved smile looked painted on. "Liam's not like other guys," she told Logan with forced brightness, fingertips digging into Logan's bicep. The scent of passion fruit hung between us like an accusation. He raised an eyebrow. "What?" Sophie's cheerful tone sounded jarring in the moment. She said, "My brother here? He's gay. Do you know what that means?" "It means he might very well try to steal you from me." My hand clenched involuntarily at my side as I immediately looked at Sophie. But she burst into delighted laughter the next second. "Just kidding. My brother would never steal my boyfriend." Logan never once glanced in my direction throughout. He simply gave Sophie a careless smile. "I'm straight. That hypothetical scenario will never exist." The humid air amplified the suffocating sensation exponentially. My lips moved. "Sophie, that joke wasn't funny." She smirked but didn't respond. Logan didn't return to our dorm until 9 p.m. Our two-bedroom apartment setup mostly found me alone. When Logan brought up ending things, I showed no surprise. "Okay." I nodded. He paused, seemingly unprepared for my immediate acceptance, lifting his gaze to silently study me. After prolonged silence, he finally spoke evenly. "Liam, I have two conditions." I maintained calm eye contact with the guy leaning against the doorframe. "Go ahead. I don't want your sister knowing about us. After all, I never liked you. Never been gay, just killing time with you." He paused, glancing down with a meaningless twitch of his lips. "Second, no clingy behavior after we're done. Liam, this is my first time truly caring about someone. Don't become my obstacle." I understood his reasoning. Shortly after we'd gotten together, I'd noticed the lipstick stain on his collar when he pinned me to the bed during one of our dorm room makeout sessions. "Wait, hold on." Fighting the burning heat in my ears, I turned my face away. Logan chased my lips, planting distracted kisses near the corner of my mouth. "No more kissing?" I stared at his collar, confusion evident. "Why is there lipstick here?" He glanced indifferently at the mark before resuming his assault on my jawline. "Went clubbing earlier. Probably some random smudge. Didn't notice." My momentary tension eased slightly. Tilting my chin up, I initiated the next kiss myself. He said softly, "Then be careful not to let anyone leave lipstick marks on you from now on." "Okay." Logan paused mid-kiss, rising to his feet. He looked down at me with frost in his eyes that outshone the moonlight. "Liam, you've crossed the line." My breath caught. "Aren't we dating? Since when is this considered crossing boundaries?" Logan lit a cigarette, the flame illuminating his smirk. "If you insist on calling this dating," he drawled, blowing smoke between us, "fine. But don't expect me to follow your rules. I set my own boundaries." The cloud of nicotine emphasized the icy detachment radiating from him. One more thing, no one finds out about us. Still want this? His careless shrug stabbed through me. I couldn't care less either way. He was my first real love. The mere thought of losing him made my throat constrict. Blinking back tears, I stood and wrapped my arms around his waist. Okay. I whispered hoarsely against his shirt. Logan, I love you. His teeth grazed my earlobe, voice dropping to a velvet murmur. I know. Yet strangely, after that night, I kept clinging to Logan while quietly preparing escape routes, letting affection bleed out drop by drop. Back in the present, his "don't become my obstacle" still echoed. I met his gaze steadily. Fine. Let's end this amicably. No more games. He studied me impassively before his voice turned arctic. See that you keep your word, Liam. I'm staying out tonight. He tossed over his shoulder while leaving. Logan. The faintest scoff answered me. What? My tone hardened. Sophie hasn't dated anyone before. Don't hurt her. After you're together, stop flirting around like you used to. She'll get her heart broken. I left the rest unspoken. I knew that agony firsthand, the kind that makes you feel like you're dying. Logan turned slowly after several seconds of silence, his lips curling into a humorless smirk. What's that supposed to mean? Liam, you think I messed around behind your back when we were together? I turned my face away, physically and emotionally drained beyond words. Too exhausted to argue, I simply said, you should go. Footsteps pounded behind me before I could react. Logan grabbed my wrist and slammed me against the door, the impact forcing a pained gasp from my lungs. At 6 feet 3 inches, he still loomed over me even when slouching, his palms smacking the wood beside my head hard enough to make my ears ring. The dangerous energy radiating from him was impossible to ignore. Listen carefully, he growled. I'll say this once. To this day, you're the only person I've ever kissed. The only one I've ever slept with. Those words that should have sounded like devotion didn't even make a dent in my numb heart. But later that day, witnessing how Logan interacted with Sophie, I couldn't help laughing bitterly at myself. Turns out Logan wasn't incapable of love after all. I'd always assumed the golden boy would approach every relationship like he did ours, detached, impatient, never bending. Yet Sophie had somehow reshaped him into someone entirely different. Big brother, can you come get me? Sophie's tearful voice through the phone had me sprinting out of the library before she finished. What's wrong? Are you hurt? She sniffled, words hitching. Logan and I fought. I fell and scraped my knees, but he just left me here. Can you come to the hill behind campus? I'm on my way. Stay put. Okay. The 800-meter distance felt endless. Halfway there, rain began pelting from the leaden sky. Turning back for an umbrella would waste precious time, so I just ran faster. But when I reached the empty hillside, panic surged. Sophie? I'm here. Thunder cracked as the drizzle exploded into a downpour, wind whipping the rain sideways. Liam? Her voice brightened absurdly through the phone. Sorry. I forgot to tell you, Logan carried me back already. The cheerful lilt in her words made my soaked clothes feel 10 pounds heavier. By the way, I found out Logan didn't actually ditch me earlier, I said breathlessly, ducking into a nearby pavilion as rain lashed at my back. The wind whipped droplets sideways, soaking through my clothes despite the shelter. Through the phone, I could hear Sophie's hurried footsteps. Liam, you didn't bring an umbrella, did you? I glanced down at my dripping phone, water pooling around my sneakers. Yeah, I muttered. The muffled conversation on her end became clearer. Logan, my brother's stuck on the hill without an umbrella. Just drop me at the academic building and go get him. Logan's sigh carried static through the receiver. You know I'd do anything for you. But Sophie, your knee needs medical attention now. I'm not risking infection this time. Sophie whined sweetly. But what about Liam? He's a grown man. Logan's voice turned glacial, the way it always did when discussing me. A little rain won't kill him. Tell him to run faster. Ice flooded my veins, rooting me to the pavement. I never realized summer storms could chill bones like this. Don't worry about me. I cut in before Sophie could protest. It's a short sprint. Send me a photo after they clean your scrape. Okay. The dorm materialized through the downpour 3 minutes later. 3 minutes too long. Next time. I vowed. I wouldn't pause for anyone's theatrics. Steam from the shower still clung to the bathroom tiles when I emerged to find Logan lounging at my desk. He hadn't set foot in our shared dorm since moving into that two-bedroom apartment for Sophie. A mug of cold medicine steamed beside my calculus textbook. "Drink it," he commanded without looking up from his mobile game. "Sophie's orders." "Thanks." The ginger lemon liquid burned away the chill as I sipped. Logan stood abruptly when his character died. Phone vanishing into his back pocket. "Stop being such a burden," he tossed out indifferently on his way to the door. This time, I let the barb sink into the silence unanswered. For weeks afterward, I mapped my schedule to avoid the campus power couple, until Sophie started dragging me to their meals. There they sat across the cafeteria table every afternoon, Golden Girl batting her lashes, Ice Prince glowering through his avocado toast, and me the third wheel picking at soggy fries. Logan was peeling shrimp, placing each one into Sophie's bowl as he finished. Sophie rested her chin in her hands, watching him with a frustrated sigh. "Logan, why are you so nice to everyone?" He snorted. "Don't be ungrateful. Who else do I treat well besides you?" "My brother," Sophie said, making Logan pause mid-peel. I set down my chopsticks. "If I recall correctly, we haven't interacted much lately." Sophie blinked innocently around her chopstick. "But last time I asked him to bring you medicine." He went immediately. Logan remained motionless as Sophie beamed, oblivious to the tension. "See, Logan's really good to you too." She hugged his arm, leaning against his shoulder. "Why don't you go all the way and find my brother a boyfriend? You're so handsome, you must know plenty of guys." I pressed my fingers to my temple. "I don't need this, Sophie," I said evenly. "You've barely acknowledged me our whole lives. Suddenly meddling in my affairs like this, it's unsettling." Her eyes welled up instantly. "That's not true, Liam." Logan slammed his chopsticks down, handing Sophie a tissue while addressing me coldly. "Don't be heartless. Your sister's trying to help. Guys like you should date while you're still young. Who'd want an old queer anyway? Know your place." I pushed my plate away, standing with bitter amusement. "How is this any of your business? Maybe focus on your own messy relationship instead of playing matchmaker. That'd be more productive. Don't you think?" For the first time, I fought back instead of swallowing my anger. The suffocating cloud I'd carried since coming out finally thinned. After my public coming out, everyone became an expert on my life through veiled threats. "The Johnsons accepted you being gay, shouldn't you be more considerate?" "Liam, we don't judge. But could you shower after lights out since we're being so tolerant? You think anyone else would hang with a queer? Just forged my fitness test already? I'm done begging for basic decency. Turns out relationships only require 2 responses. Go die. Or, I'll die first." Even after I thought I'd made myself perfectly clear, Logan still intercepted me that day as I left the library. Ethan stood beside him. Logan smirked. "I introduced you to the hottest guy in my circle. Ethan, you've met. Too bad he's straight. Want to try turning him?" I opened my mouth to refuse, but he cut me off. Logan leaned in until his breath warmed my ear, words dropping to an intimate murmur only we could hear. "Liam," he said, my American name sounding foreign in his accented Mandarin. "Your overreaction that day only proves you're still hung up on me. Can't move on. Can you? But you should know," his voice hardened. "This obsession of yours? Having some guy haunting my every step?" He threw my own cruel words to Sophie back at me verbatim, frost crystallizing his tone. "Gives me the creeps." When he straightened, his arctic stare made my throat constrict. 1,000 explanations clogged my windpipe, suffocated by the knowledge that Logan would retaliate with tenfold viciousness. Ethan ignored our charged standoff. Strolling over, he lazily extended his phone displaying a QR code. "Want a date? Add me if yes." Logan's head snapped toward him. "Ethan, have you lost it? Thought you were straight." Ethan's eyelids drooped with practiced nonchalance, though his smirk sharpened. Says the guy who supposedly kissed another dude at Sigma Cheese Party. Tension coiled through Logan's shoulders as his gaze locked on me, monitoring my reaction. I suddenly realized these two were playing some unspoken game of dominance. Maybe because Ethan had helped me before. Maybe because I wanted to see Logan's composure crack. Before I knew it, my phone was scanning the code. "Deal," I said, forcing a smile. As Ethan's contact preview loaded, Logan's palm slammed over my screen. His eyes burned with unfamiliar intensity. "Don't do this out of spite. Ethan leaned against the wall, smirking as he countered. What's it to you, Logan? Logan ignored him, drilling that feverish stare into me. I won't stop you twice. Whatever happens next, own the consequences. My finger hovered over the glowing send request button. The library's fluorescent lights hummed above us. 3 heartbeats suspended in the charged silence. I knew exactly what he was talking about. Ethan was straight too, and he thought I was just as hopeless as himself. He believed I'd fall back into the same trap and get hurt again. Ignoring his burning gaze, I sent the friend request. Ethan accepted instantly. Logan retreated with practiced ease, his composure fully restored. Fine. Let's see how long this slapdash romance of yours lasts then. Only after Logan left did I finally relax my tense shoulders. I texted Ethan first. Thanks for playing along earlier to help me out. Then quickly added, don't worry. I won't bother you. Feel free to block me now if you want. As a straight guy, Ethan proposing a relationship was obviously performative. Both Logan and I saw through that act immediately. Nobody took it seriously. While I was typing, Ethan had already pinned our chat to the top. He changed my contact name to Sweetheart. Me. He glanced up through his lashes. Problem? Are you breaking up with me after 10 minutes of dating? My words tangled awkwardly. But you're straight? Ethan's playful expression shifted to something more serious. Never dated anyone before. Never crushed on anyone either. Why assume I'm straight when my orientation's unclear? I didn't catch the hidden meaning in his words then. When I stayed silent, he gave a bitter smile, lowering his head. Whatever. Just tell me if you hate me. I won't force this. As I looked over, I noticed him changing his profile picture to solid black and his username to Isaro. Me. What kind of emo phase was this? He changed my contact name back to full legal title. Great. My first relationship lasted 10 whole minutes. Ethan glared at me like I was the villain, scoffing coldly. Should have known better than to trust men. We're done here. I grabbed the arm of this drama king who stood even taller than Logan, guilt washing over me. Wait, I explained patiently. That's not what I meant. His eyes locked onto mine. So you're not dumping me? Still thoroughly confused, I nodded slowly anyway. Ethan feigned reluctance. TSK. Fine. I forgive you. He changed his profile picture back to normal and extended his hand. I blinked in confusion. His tone brooked no argument. Can't couples hold hands? Suddenly, an ill-timed memory surfaced when Logan and I first got together. I tried to hold his hand too, but he'd subtly shifted away, smiling politely. Don't, Liam. Wouldn't 2 grown men holding hands look ridiculous? People might see. Returning to the present, I hesitated before refusing Ethan. Someone sees. Since when do I care? He interrupted, firmly interlacing our fingers as we walked. The broad-shouldered freshman casually adjusted our grip into a proper handhold without turning. Liam, stop overthinking. Ethan's coffee-colored hoodie peeked beneath his bomber jacket, sunlight catching the golden highlights in his hair. For one breathless moment, his warmth outshone the actual sunbeams. My traitorous heartbeat stuttered. Sophie took matters into her own hands after hearing about my relationship. She booked a private dining room and ordered a feast before summoning us. The sophomore's smile faltered when Ethan pulled out my chair. Ethan, you're really dating my brother? The basketball star sprawled in his seat, not bothering to look up from his phone. Got better questions? You asked Liam to bring his boyfriend. Think he'd drag his academic advisor instead? Sophie flushed crimson. I just can't believe it. She whirled to Logan. You actually set him up with someone this hot? They look completely mismatched. Logan snorted while unwrapping her chopsticks. Surface-level relationships never match. Why, Ethan? Sophie pressed, chin propped on her hands. Run out of campus hotties? I chuckled despite myself. Ethan slowly lifted his gaze. After prolonged silence, he turned to Logan with raised eyebrows. Why her? Logan? World run out of women? The same words were tossed back by Ethan, directed at Sophie. Her face paled instantly. Logan, why would Senior Ethan say that about me? The hypocrisy in her tone was almost laughable. Ethan fired off another sharp retort. So Sophie, he drawled, you can dish it out about your brother, but can't take it when others comment on you? Logan clearly disapproved of us ganging up on Sophie. His plate clattered against the table with deliberate force. His voice dropped to a warning rumble. Sophie's a girl. Watch your tone. The silverware trembled as he added. Besides, she wasn't wrong. His gaze swept over me and Ethan, mouth quirking in faint mockery. You two act like polite strangers. Not a trace of real chemistry between you. Ethan's sarcasm flowed uninterrupted, steamrolling over any chance I had to speak. Oh really? He leaned forward, all sharp edges and provocation. Want us to file hourly reports on how many times we've made out this week? Need play-by-play details of where my hands? Logan's fork froze mid-air. A beat passed before he resumed cutting his steak. Low chuckle vibrating through the dining room. Made out? His eyes flickered to my mouth briefly. Interesting. The unspoken verdict hung between us. He didn't buy Ethan's bluff for a second. Later by the restrooms, cigarette smoke curled around Logan's silhouette as he lounged against the wall. So, amber glow highlighting the challenge in his eyes. You two actually locked lips? I focused on scrubbing soap between my fingers. The sink's fluorescent lights glared as his shadow engulfed mine. Lying's beneath you, Liam. His knuckles whitened around the cigarette pack. You'd still be swollen if that were true. His thumb brushed my lower lip. Calloused and deliberate. This, he murmured, breath warm against my temple, stays puffy for hours. When my back hit cold tiles, I stopped resisting. A humorless smile tugged at my mouth. Got another? Surprise lifted his brows. The cigarette between my lips trembled slightly as he lit it. Our reflections warped in the foggy mirror, his gaze darkening as I took a drag. Suddenly I twisted the glowing tip sideways, pressing it into his forearm with steady pressure. Flesh sizzled. Logan's choked gasp echoed off marble walls as he staggered back, clutching the angry red mark. I ground the cigarette into the ashtray, the acrid stench of burnt skin clinging to us both. I watched coldly as Logan winced in pain, issuing my final warning. Logan, stay away from me. Compared to Ethan, you're rotten to the core. Admittedly, I'd been particularly harsh today. Beyond my disgust toward Logan, there was another reason. I'm currently dating Ethan. I needed to give him an unsullied first love. Logan returned to the private dining room over 10 minutes later, his expression stormy especially when his gaze landed on me. Sophie glanced impassively between us but remained silent. As this awkward dinner neared its end, Sophie suddenly knocked over her plate. When I looked up, angry red hives already covered her face. Her lips were swelling rapidly as she gasped for air. Logan reacted first, catching her collapsing form. Sophie? His usually controlled voice tightened with urgency. Allergic reaction? The half-eaten fruit platter provided answers, the mango slices I'd specifically requested for dessert. Logan's glacial stare swept over me as he carried Sophie toward the emergency exit. The silent accusation colder than winter frost. By the time we reached the hospital, Sophie lay stabilized with 4 fluids. The nurse mistook me for family, instructing, monitor your brother's drip and call when this bag empties. Before leaving, Ethan leaned against the wall studying Sophie's unconscious form. Your sister plays dramatic, he remarked with ambiguous amusement. I was counting 4 drops when iron fingers clamped around my forearm. What else are you trying to do? Logan snarled, hurling me against medical equipment. The crash echoed through the sterile room. Ethan helped me up, scanning for injuries. You okay? I shook my head after catching my breath. Just rattled. As Ethan guided me to the visitor's couch, I saw genuine fear flicker behind Logan's fury, the terror of someone who'd nearly lost everything. Twice over. Don't look at me like that, Ethan. Logan met Ethan's stormy gaze with detached calm. Liam brought this on himself. I'll assume the mango platter was accidental. But what about now? His chin jerked towards Sophie. Ask him what he intended to do to his own sister. Ethan slammed the door shut. His attention locked onto the 4-pole by the wall, cold steel gleaming under fluorescent lights. My knuckles whitened against the couch as I whispered, Ethan, don't cause trouble here. He moved like a sleepwalker beyond reason. Before Logan could react, Ethan fisted his collar, dragging him forward while grabbing the 4-pole with his other hand. Nurse. The scrub-clad woman materialized like an avenging angel, snatching the pole mid-swing despite the height difference. I'm calling security. You grown-ass men brawling in my ER? She glared at Sophie's empty 4-bag before replacing it. Act your age. Ethan exhaled harshly, shoving Logan away. Liam loves mangoes, that's on Sophie for being careless with her allergies. Maybe she wanted this. His laugh held ice shards. And FYI? Liam's been tracking her 4 changes this whole time. He leaned closer. You and your girlfriend? Trash humans. The cramping had subsided. I tugged Ethan's sleeve, ignoring Logan's conflicted expression. Let's go. Trash doesn't deserve explanations. Logan's arm blocked my path. Liam. I thought. My fist connected with his jaw before he finished. He staggered into shadows. Hand twitching at his side, that old tell when hurt. Didn't matter anymore. What gives you the right? My knuckles throbbed. Who the hell are you to me now? Ethan's dorm smelled of antiseptic and burnt coffee. As he rummaged through the first aid kit, his voice came gruff, shirt off. No. I paused my inspection of his dorm room and slowly turned to look at him. Ethan seemed equally aware of the awkward tension thickening between us. When our eyes met, his ears flushed crimson instantly. Oh. I meant to apply medicine on your back. The boy who blushed at the slightest provocation looked completely different from the furious figure I'd seen at the hospital earlier. In the heavy silence of midnight, I had to admit Ethan's contrasting personas were dangerously appealing. Sitting on his bed with my hands braced behind me, I tilted my chin up. You'll undress me then? My arms are too sore from punching Logan earlier. Ethan kept rummaging through the first aid kit, avoiding eye contact. He cleared his throat, voice rougher than before. Fine. After setting the ointment on the nightstand, he knelt before me, hands hovering uncertainly. I'm going to remove this now? I nodded leisurely. Be gentle with me. The blush spread to his hairline. Yeah. His Adam's apple bobbed visibly as he unfastened the first 3 buttons of my shirt. Emboldened by his reaction, I cupped his jaw, thumb brushing his cheekbone. Why so flustered? Ethan? Suddenly I found myself pinned beneath him. Ethan caged me between his arms, dark intensity burning in his gaze. Playing games with me? I lounged against his sheets, arching a challenging brow. When he leaned down to kiss me, I turned my face away. Wait, there's something you should know. Logan and I know. His weight pressed me deeper into the mattress as he nuzzled my neck, teeth grazing my earlobe. The flat delivery chilled me. I saw him kiss you. He prevented me from turning toward him, fingers firm under my chin. Then, his lips wandered along my ear as he spoke with detached calm. I liked you before I even knew you. Yet when Logan asked if I was straight, a humorless chuckle vibrated against my skin. I still said yes. Do you know why? His warm breath brushed against my ear, leaving me utterly disoriented. The tables had turned, and suddenly I was the one struggling to keep up. Why, he chuckled lowly, the ease in his posture sharply contrasting my tension. Because if I'd admitted I wasn't straight, he wouldn't have introduced me to you. Those hazel eyes gleamed with dark amusement. Haven't you figured it out yet? Logan's been obsessively possessive of you this whole time. That holier-than-thou act? Just his pathetic way of denying he's fallen for another guy. A bitter laugh escaped him. So he dates your sister, your goddamn carbon copy, playing house to convince himself he's normal. But even I didn't predict how low he'd sink. His knuckles whitened against the bedsheets, crushing your confidence, forcing you to watch their sick little romance, all to escape the truth. I stared at the man currently pinning me to this dorm bed, realizing I'd witnessed 3 distinct versions of Ethan tonight. The playful flirt, the vicious truth-teller, and now, this. Why tell me all this? To show you how twisted he is. His thumb traced my jawline, feather light, and to confess that I'm fucking crazy about you. The admission hung between us, raw and uncomfortably literal. Who pairs like with death during a first confession? The golden retriever persona hid sharper fangs than I'd imagined. Ethan shifted, forearm caging me as he registered my shallow breathing. Scared of me now. His smirk didn't reach those storm cloud eyes. Where's that boldness from earlier? Jim? The blaring ringtone shattered the tension. My relief lasted exactly 2 seconds. Liam's with you, isn't he? Logan's voice crackled through the speakerphone Ethan had tossed aside. He's not answering. I tensed. But Ethan's palm flattened against my chest. Problem? Just answer the question. The impatience in Logan's tone made my stomach churn. Ethan dragged his gaze over me, slow and deliberate. Currently beneath me. I mouthed silent curses as the line went dead. Dread coiled tight. Logan knew I wasn't downstairs. 2 minutes later, The door exploded inward with a splintering crash. Logan stood framed in the wreckage, chest heaving, just as I finally shoved Ethan off. Sitting up in bed, I frantically fumbled with my collar buttons. Ethan glanced leisurely at the door, even having the audacity to smirk at me. This door's shit quality. We should get a hotel next time. Logan's gaze lingered on my reddened earlobe as he asked Ethan in a low voice, I thought you said you were straight? The tension hung thick like gathering storm clouds over still waters. Yet the other two seemed oblivious to the brewing tempest. Stop this madness. We're in a dorm. I attempted to mediate, though my efforts proved futile. Ethan stepped between Logan and me. Changed my mind. Problem? Some unspoken trigger made Logan snap. His fist swung toward Ethan's face. What the hell are you playing at? You've been after Liam from the start, haven't you? Ethan twisted Logan's arm behind his back with brutal efficiency. I cringed at the sickening crack that followed, though Ethan's smile never wavered. Guilty as charged. Been wanting him since he was still yours. His words dripped venom. Lucky me he's mine now. Logan's jaw clenched. You knew he was mine. How fucking dare you? As they lunged at each other again, I snapped. Logan. Enough. His bloodshot eyes burned with fury. He touched you. I should. Standing protectively before Ethan, I met his glare unflinchingly. He's my boyfriend. Everything we do is consensual. The reality check hit Logan like a physical blow. His anger dissolved into confusion. But he rasped, pale lips trembling. You introduced us, remember? My words extinguished his last spark of defiance. As I led Ethan toward the door, Logan's broken whisper followed us. I never meant for you to actually choose someone else. You promised you'd always. His voice cracked. Liar. Ethan's grip tightened painfully on my hand. Only then did I realize Logan had truly believed this was all just some elaborate game to make him jealous. I tried to let go of Ethan's hand, wanting to turn around and clear things up with Logan. But Ethan kept a firm grip. I sighed, patting his arm like comforting a child. I just need to turn around. Let go for a second. He released me obediently, then circled to my other side and extended his palm. Then hold this side. My breath hitched, yet I still grasped this overgrown puppy's hand. Logan watched us silently the entire time, his eyes pools of unresolved melancholy. Logan, truthfully, I stopped caring deeply about you the moment you refused to make us public. Ethan cleared his throat beside me, puffing out his chest. I posted about us everywhere on day one. Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Quora, every platform. I pressed my lips together, choosing to ignore him as I continued addressing Logan. Everything I've done these past months had nothing to do with you. What makes you think I'd still have feelings? Your talent for two-timing? Or that mouth that's never once said, I love you? Ethan's competitive streak flared, eyes glittering with triumph. I've never looked at anyone else. And I did confess properly. I closed my eyes briefly, exasperated by his childish rivalry. Logan's face had gone pale, though he managed a strained smile. Why so serious? This is good. His nod was barely perceptible, gaze drifting away. Not loving me anymore. His murmur faded like wind through dead leaves. That's good. This fragile, broken version of Logan was unfamiliar. Yet I felt nothing, if anything, bitter amusement. Anyone watching might think he was the wrong party. Ethan and I booked a king-size bedroom at the nearest hotel. Before leaving campus, we reported Logan's dorm destruction to the housing office. Ethan hovered awkwardly in the doorway, avoiding eye contact. If you're uncomfortable, we can get separate rooms. Relief flooded his features. Right. Good idea. I watched his retreating back with detached interest, recalling an old forum post by some guy claiming less than 1/10,000th of 1% of self-proclaimed tops were real. Most were either like Logan, ashamed of their attraction, or like Ethan, physically repulsed by male intimacy. No one could doubt Ethan's genuine affection. Yet deep down, that self-loathing simmered, disgusted by the mirror his lover's body presented. He returned minutes later, frustration creasing his brow. Front desk says they're fully booked. All right. I'll just sleep like this. Exhausted both physically and mentally, I nodded dismissively before heading into the bathroom. The air felt heavy with unspoken tension. To avoid mutual awkwardness, I deliberately positioned myself at the extreme edge of the bed after emerging. Ethan paused mid-step when he noticed, remaining silent even after turning off the lights and settling on the opposite side. I lay motionless, forcibly suppressing my irritation behind closed eyelids. After what felt like an eternity, Ethan's voice drifted through the darkness. Have you truly moved on completely from Logan? Both emotionally and physically? Turning instinctively toward the question, I found myself meeting his dark gaze. What do you mean? He gestured at the chasm between us, blinking owlishly. You seem averse to me. Rolling over to face him fully, I hesitated briefly before confronting the elephant in the room. I thought you were uncomfortable sharing a room with me. His delayed reaction spoke volumes. That's not it. I assumed you booked one room because you wanted to, you know. In the dimness, I couldn't tell if he was blushing, but he suddenly yanked the comforter up to conceal his lower face, muffling his confession. But I don't really know how to perform like a man should. I'm scared I won't measure up to Logan and disappoint you. That's why I wanted separate rooms tonight. A surprised laugh escaped me. Scooting closer, I muttered you're insane under my breath. Ethan immediately wormed his way toward me, lowering the blanket barrier. Liam, comfort me. I arched an eyebrow. Why should I? I saw you hugging the edge earlier and thought you hated sharing the bed. I cried in the shower. He leaned in urgently, presenting red-rimmed eyes as evidence. Nighttime became our truth serum. The day's emotional turbulence crystallized into warm certainty as I bridged the gap to brush my lips against his. Retreating, then repeating the feather-light contact until our mouths hovered centimeters apart. Better now, I whispered against the shell-shocked man's lips. He blinked rapidly. Why aren't you using your tongue? The man who occasionally pretended worldly experience crumbled into endearing awkwardness during actual intimacy. Amusement sparkled in my eyes as I captured his mouth properly, guiding him through deepening the kiss. When we finally broke apart, I found myself pinned beneath him. Ethan's uneven breaths ghosted over my skin as he stared down helplessly. Would you give me a practical demonstration? Show me how it's done? I shot him a dismissive glance and refused. No, you'll hurt me. He nodded eagerly and moved to lie on the other side, cocooning himself in the blanket. Okay, let's not try that then. I'll, study up when I get back. Night. I stifled a laugh. That night, I found myself utterly charmed by this sweet, innocent guy. The next morning as Ethan and I walked back to campus, Sophie intercepted us. The usually bubbly girl looked hollow-eyed and disheveled. Ethan instinctively stepped between us, as if shielding me from some imagined threat. Logan broke up with me last night, she blurted, mascara smudged beneath bloodshot eyes. What? Ethan snorted coldly. Ask him. A bitter laugh escaped Sophie's lips, tears welling. But I think it's because of you, Liam. I stepped out from behind Ethan. If you already knew everything, why keep targeting me? My voice stayed calm. Haven't I made enough effort to keep my distance? What distance? Her lips twisted mockingly. You knew Logan still had feelings for you. You should have disappeared completely. Couldn't you at least take a leave of absence? You're doing this on purpose. Her shrill voice carried across the quad, parading around campus. Stealing my boyfriend, don't you feel disgusting? Ethan moved toward her, knuckles cracking. Gonna hit a girl? Sophie taunted, standing her ground. When he kept advancing, I called out sharply. Then, seizing the opening, Sophie lunged at me with a stream of curses. Her pretty features contorted. I sidestepped and gripped the back of her neck, shoving her face into the fountain. After a few seconds, I hauled her sputtering form upright. Clarity yet? Water streamed down her designer sweater as she coughed violently. I released her, staring down at the drenched figure. When have I ever wronged you? You want me to drop out over some trash? Collapsing on the fountain's edge, Sophie dissolved into hysterical sobs. Then why did he leave me? What did I do wrong? Her wails echoed across the courtyard. Why do I always lose everything? She was in no mental state to process anything I said. I took off my jacket and tossed it beside her before walking away with Ethan. Logan vanished for an entire week. During those 7 days, Sophie became increasingly disoriented and withdrawn without him, eventually taking leave to go home and recover emotionally. Ethan had been unusually quiet too. All three of them seemed to have silently agreed to disappear from my life. Yet I found myself missing Ethan. After class, I went straight to his dorm room. What have you been up to lately? My eyes tracked how he hastily shoved his phone behind his back, his ears flushing crimson. Just researching stuff. He avoided my gaze, voice trailing off as he shifted uncomfortably in his desk chair. I leaned against his chair back, tilting my head. What kind of stuff? His entire body stiffened like an overstimulated puppy, the blush spreading down his neck. Unable to resist provoking him, I straddled his lap. Ethan froze, breath catching audibly as I whispered against his ear. Figured out how to fuck me yet? The choked sound he made could have powered a small fireworks display. Did you get off? I'm still studying the logistics. His mortified expression contrasted hilariously with his dead serious tone. It's not just technique, safety matters too. Regular soap or body wash could cause allergic reactions. We need proper supplies. His earnestness made my chest ache with fondness. I kissed his burning cheek. Thanks for being thorough. The smile lingered as I returned to my dorm, until I pushed open the door and found Logan waiting. He looked gaunt, shadows clinging beneath his eyes. Don't you want to know where I've been? Not particularly. I turned toward the exit. I came out to my parents. The raw tremor in his voice halted me. Told them I'm in love with a guy. Got disowned. His knuckles whitened around my doorknob. Liam, give me another chance. We'll go public properly this time. I don't love you. The words landed cleanly, like surgical steel. Stay away from my life, Logan. And if you harass Ethan again? My smile turned arctic. I'll make your family exile look like a fucking vacation. He stared at me without blinking. You've never defended me like this, Liam. His calm voice carried venom. The more you act this way, the more I want to destroy him. I settled across from him, methodically recounting every detail of my relationship with Ethan. Finally, I stated, Logan, these are things I never experienced with you. Ethan's given me unconditional devotion. I truly, deeply care for him. His eyelids fluttered, parched lips trembling. I could do those things for you too. It's too late, I replied. What matters most is Ethan's never hurt me. Logan sat motionless before rasping. Understood. Satisfied he wouldn't interfere. I gathered belongings for my stay at Ethan's apartment. As I gripped the doorknob, Logan's voice halted me. I clicked my tongue impatiently. Spit it out. He stood framed by sunlight filtering through parted curtains. I owe you an apology. I'm sorry, Liam, for all the pain I caused. The breeze tousled his shirt as he smiled with practiced warmth. I love you, I snorted, slamming the door. How amusing, who'd be moved by belated, hollow words? 3 days later, Ethan attempted nonchalance while packing our picnic basket. Late movie showing tonight. Might need to, stay over? 2 rooms? I deadpanned. His puppy dog eyes drooped. Right. Our campus stroll interrupted by commotion. Sophie clawed at Logan's shirt, screaming incoherently. My father's recent call flashed through memory. Sophie's having mental episodes. Locked herself up since the breakup. The disheveled girl in pajamas clearly escaped confinement. Logan stood statue, still as bystanders pried her off. Several girls began berating him while Sophie crumpled to the pavement, her wails echoing across the quad. The comments seemed to be defending Sophie. Logan suddenly looked up as if sensing something. When our eyes met, he gave a self-deprecating twist of his lips before looking away. Some bystanders were secretly recording videos. Ethan raised an eyebrow lazily at the scene. What's wrong? I asked. Logan and your sister might become campus famous. His tone dripped with mischievous anticipation. I shrugged it off, focusing instead on Ethan's detailed itinerary for our day-long date. It wasn't until we reached the hotel that evening that things shifted. Ethan lingered at my doorway like his shoes were glued there. You're not scared staying alone? Rumor says this place was built over a cemetery. Ghost Central. He adopted his most serious expression, though amusement sparkled in my eyes. When our gazes locked again, Logan's brow twitched almost imperceptibly. Well, guess I'll head to my room then, I hummed non-committally, leaning against the doorframe. Biting my lip, I watched him shuffle toward his room at glacial speed. Just as I opened my mouth to call out, Ethan cracked first. He stormed back, pushing me inside before pinning me against the door in a searing kiss. Breaking for air, he nipped my lower lip. You're enjoying this, Liam? Stop bullying me, he murmured against my mouth, claiming it again. Ethan's puppy dog act could melt glaciers. Baby, why are you still so cold-hearted? He whined between kisses. Can't you praise me? Or say you like it? I practiced all week, we should try everything, later. When tears suddenly spilled down his cheeks mid-encounter, I gasped out fragmented concern. Ethan, what now? His bloodshot eyes met mine. Feels too good, I stared. That night, between his sniffles and relentless cajoling, I kept surrendering. Dawn painted the sky before exhaustion finally claimed us.